explaining Israel's creating chaos in the Middle East by attacking Iran. I gotta pee.
Iran is not close to Israel's neighborhood, and Israel has a national security doctrine of simply seizing the territory of the immediate surrounding states, and of course permanently seizing all of Palestine. What this is really about then is going to the next stage, and perhaps the defining moment in Israel's reach for regional domination, that all of the region will see that it must bend the knee, that the US is Israel, and that is omnipotent. The claim that this is to prevent a nuclear armed Iran is not credible. By the way, one of the things this almost certainly does is it guarantees nuclear proliferation, because everyone in the region now looks at how the nuclear-armed bully Israel can act with another nuclear-armed bully, America. Israel's bet is that with the US at its side, it can't be stopped. Not in this surge for regional domination, and not in its eradicationist war against the Palestinians. Israel is a dependent protectorate of the US. What's strange is, simultaneous to that, Israel can be the one calling the shots. Not that there isn't a camp for war in the US, but the strong, palpable sense is that it's hard to depict this as a US national interest. Israel is dragging the US into this. Israel plays fast and loose with US lives. This is
There you go. Literally, Israeli Jewish peace negotiator for Israel saying what I've been saying before all the fucking New York Times op-ed writers turn around and go, oh, this is, is this anti-Semitism? Like, what am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do if this is just like abject reality? It's not my fault that like this is just what it is. I'm sorry if your fucking feelings are hurt, or if, you feel threatened by an accurate reflection of what we are seeing and what is unfolding, but that's just the reality.
Popular inside the US. This may be one of the reasons this doesn't go well for Israel.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military...
In June of 2025, President Trump apparently got a taste for sitting in that situation room, seeing the, as he depicts it, awesome, destructive power of the American military. And the I'm not a war guy, I'm the peace president has subsided ever since.
Just imagine what it does it mean if someone wished to be judged upon early, like being suicidal and even taking others them. How it was that it's like they didn't read the New Testament and Quran. What? Would you ever consider leaving if the situation got bad enough? Maybe at least moving your family out? Where the fuck am I going to move? Yeah, let me go live in Turkey. Here, anyway. Lindsey Graham here, giving the game away, saying the quiet part out loud.
Social media post Sunday, President Trump wrote this, quote, hopefully the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Is hope the plan for the future of Iran?
No, the future of Iran is going to be determined by the Iranian people. The new Iran, whatever it is, whether it's a cleric or a representative democracy, our goal is to make sure it cannot become, again, the largest state sponsor of terrorism. That's a win for us.
But is there a plan to make sure that happens, Senator? Is there a plan? Does the president have a plan to guarantee that that happens?
No, it's not his job or my job to do this. How many times do I have to tell you? Our job is to make sure Iran is no longer the largest state sponsor of terrorism, to help the people reconstruct a new government, no boots on the ground. We don't own, you know this idea, you break it, you own it? I don't buy that one bit. It's in America's interest to make sure the Ayatollah is dead. He's dead.
There it is, baby. There it is. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a single solitary fuck about what happens to the Iranians. Okay, we killed your Ayatollah. We want a failed state. They're saying it. They're saying it out loud. The only problem, look, from the American perspective, if you want to understand the American foreign policy perspective, you want to know what the biggest fucking problem is for America's ambitions in Iran? Iran was the great fucking annihilator of ISIS-style groups, okay? This presented a significant threat to America and Israel's interests in the region and all these other countries. That's number one. And number two, this meant that they couldn't create like a Salafist brigade internally in the country. That was the real issue here. And that's precisely the reason why they can't do this destabilization initiative, because they don't have popular fucking forces on the ground. That's it. That's why it's always laughable when dumb fucks in the chat will be like, oh, you love ISIS. Bro, which one is it? Do I love the Ayatollah or do I love ISIS? I can't love both. And I'm not exactly a big fan of either. Let's be real.
On Iran was deliberate, not least because we believe that the best way forward for the region and for the world is a negotiated settlement, one in which Iran agrees to give up any aspirations to develop a nuclear weapon. But Iran is striking British interests nonetheless and putting British people at huge risk, along with our allies across the region. That is the situation we face today. Our partners in the Gulf have asked us to do more to defend them, and it is my duty to protect British lives. We have British jets in the air as part of coordinated defensive operations, which have already successfully intercepted Iranian strikes. But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk, and hitting countries that have not been...
Bro, Iran has never put British lives at risk. He's currently putting British lives at risk. Oh, he's such a fucking cuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Unimaginable. Like, cuckening to a degree that I previously thought was impossible to reach, okay? Oh, he's the cuck final boss. Yep, guess we gotta go wage war with Iran now. Incredible. Incredible, dude. Oh.
Involved. The basis of our decision is the collective self-defense of long-standing friends and allies and protecting British lives. That is in accordance with international law, and we are publishing a summary of our legal advice. We are not joining these strikes, but we will continue with our defensive actions in the region.
It's so funny because he's also constantly looking like he has a gun pointed at him, like off camera. And obviously that's not the case. He's like, you know, a willing servant, right? But he just has such bad vibes that it just looks that way.
And we will also bring experts from Ukraine together with our own experts to help Gulf partners shoot down Iranian drones attacking them. I want to be very clear. We all remember the mistakes of Iraq. and we have learned those lessons. We were not involved in the initial strikes on Iran, and we will not join offensive action now. But Iran is pursuing a scorched earth strategy, so we are supporting the collective self-defense of our allies and our people in the region, because that is our duty to the British people. It is the best way to eliminate the urgent threat and prevent the situation spiralling further. This is the British government protecting British interests and British lives.
I have a question. Israel is the most unpopular it's ever been in the Western world. Overwhelming majorities will see this as going out to defend Israel's interests, putting their nationals' lives on the line to protect the needs of interest, to protect the needs and interests of Israel. What do you think happens to Western liberal democracy when overwhelming majorities get so mad and so angry that they start taking matters into their own hands? Especially after 80 plus years of propaganda that dictated that this was also, Israel's interests were done for the Jews, to protect the Jews. What do you think happens at that point? Because now you're actually universalizing the pain. Now it's not even just like, oh, you need to shut the fuck up. If you say anything about Israel, you're anti-Semitic. Now you're like, if you don't die for Israel, you're anti-Semitic. What do you think happens in the Western world? These are such unimaginably short-sighted initiatives. They're acting like there's no tomorrow. Clip of the Iranian reply to Starmer.
And
Let's hear Fox News sell how U.S. troops have been killed. By the way, I bet those numbers are even higher.
5 others are seriously wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. We do not know where those casualties occurred. However, we do know that U.S. bases in Iraq have come under attack by Islamic militia now. Those militia that are aligned with Iran. Those are the ones that they fund and purpose at their will, that regime. The president launched the major offensive against Iran's terrorist regime early yesterday morning. Israel today continues to go after strategic sites deep inside Iran, dubbing its military offensive Operation Roaring Lion. This is a special Sunday edition of the Faulkner Focus. I'm Harris Faulkner. Those are U.S. missiles launched in the opening phase of the operation. Israeli officials confirm strikes have killed more than 40 senior Iranian commanders.
By the way, they used missile systems with 300-kilometer range, and they openly showed that at least one of the Arab nations that they're one of these Arab nations, we don't know which one. I don't know if they figured out which one it was, but at least one of the Arab nations were actually being utilized to deploy strikes against Iran.
Commanders since the operations began, which includes the top Revolutionary Guard leadership and Iran's defense minister. A huge development now, coming together in just the last bit. Iranian state media confirming Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. Now, we knew that yesterday. Fox confirmed, the president talked about it, and now wide media And Fox can also confirm that the CIA provided Israel with the intelligence to conduct that strike on Khamenei's compound. President Trump is calling it justice for the people of Iran. And speaking to one outlet this morning, the president said the nation's potential new leadership, quote, want to talk, and I have agreed to talk, so I will be talking to them.
Nope.
They should have done it sooner. They should have given what was very practical and easy to do sooner. They waited too long. End of quote from President Trump. Iran's exiled crown prince shared his thoughts on the future of his country.
There's no question that this is the game changer we've been waiting for all this time. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. The Iranian people has suffered too much to settle for anything less than that.
Well, while Iran's leadership is calling for revenge, citizens are in the streets, really all over the world, wherever they live, including the United States. You're taking a look now. This is Berlin, Germany. Streets are cheering the killings of the top regime officials who have been oppressors.
Shameless.
Of the people for decades. The regime projecting strength while citizens have toiled under miserable economic conditions and political and social repression and death. You know about all those protesters just in the last few weeks. An estimated 30,000 people targeted by their own government. That government now, big pieces of it are gone. We have Fox team coverage. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb is coming up in focus. And Trey Yingst is on the ground in Tel Aviv, where air defenses continue to intercept Iranian missiles. Let's begin with Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Jennifer.
Harris, as you mentioned, CENTCOM has confirmed that 3 American service members were killed and 5 were seriously wounded in a missile strike. We're told other Americans sustained shrapnel injuries and suffered concussions. These are the first casualties of the war the U.S. and Israel have launched against Iran. CENTCOM would not say which U.S. base the missile strike targeted, while family notifications continue. We also can now report that 4 B-2 bombers flew from their home base of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri on a round trip to Iran and are now safely home. A senior U.S. defense official told me they dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs on Iranian ballistic missile sites that are hidden underground. The Iranians have mobile missile launchers that can be rolled out of caves and then pushed back into a protective bunker. They may have fewer of those launchers today, however. The Iranian strategy seems to be to escalate to de-escalate. The Iranians have fired 135 missiles and 209 drones at UAE, 66 missiles at Qatar, and 45 at Bahrain, along with 9 drones. Hotels and civilian apartment buildings are being hit by Iranian missiles and drones in neighboring Gulf states. Missiles have been fired at a U.S. military base in Erbil, likely by Shia militias in Iraq, who have long been funded by Iran. A mob tried to storm the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, and Pakistani security forces used batons and live fire to push back an angry crowd threatening the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan. Both Iraq and Pakistan have large Shia Muslim populations. And British Defense Secretary John Healey said 2 missiles had been fired toward Cyprus, where the British Army has service members stationed. It's the first time Cyprus has ever been targeted by Iranian ballistic missiles, likely fired from Tabriz in western Iran. There are reports that the Iranians have reached out to Oman, saying they are willing to talk. President Trump, as you just mentioned, just told The Atlantic that the Iranians have reached out and want to talk, and he is willing to talk to them. Israel's defense minister announced that Israel is now using stand-in weapons over Tehran and will now have 24/7 presence in the skies above Tehran. That means that they and the U.S. military have effectively suppressed the air defense systems over Tehran, a huge step forward in terms of being able to track the movements of Iranian leaders and forces. We reported yesterday that the start of the joint operation had to be moved up based on intelligence and this target of opportunity, the meeting at Khamenei's compound. Fox has now confirmed the intelligence for that strike came from the CIA, who passed it to the Israelis. The New York Times was the first to report this. The man to watch is Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He has moved into the top position in Iran. He just gave an interview in which he threatened revenge for the killing of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei.
Why are Iranian missiles only really able to hit civilian targets on hotels? Have their capabilities degraded if they can't reliably strike our bases? Who said they can't reliably strike your bases? You said W American Embassy? An American Embassy fucking security staff killed 10 Pakistani people protesting outside of it. And you said W American Embassy? First of all, who the fuck said the Iranian missiles are not capable of striking the bases? Here. Does this look like their capabilities have diminished? Dumbass? What purpose does it serve to lie to yourself? You think? I will never understand that. People who would just like rather live in an alternative reality.
Quote, the United States and the Zionists have burned the heart of the Iranian people, and we will burn their hearts. Now it seems both sides want to talk. Not clear if that means there will be regime change in the end, if there is a new...
Why do so many Americans want to be such rabid fascist dogs? Do you really have nothing going good in your life? Yes.
Supreme leader, and Ali Larijani keeps the reins of power. He was one of the main members of the Iranian leadership, Harris, ordering the vicious killing of thousands of Iranian protesters just weeks ago. Harris.
Jennifer, thank you very much for getting us started. The conflict is having major impacts across the Middle East. You'll hear more and more about that during the Faulkner Focus today. Iran has launched waves of missiles and drones into Israel and the United States military bases and some civilian areas in the region. And we were told to expect some of that. What is an oddity, though, is that they are hitting Qatar, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates hard. Nations with at least relationships with Iran, if not some actual supporters in some cases. U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain was hit by an Iranian strike. And President Trump is warning what is left of Iran's leadership to stop this, stop the retaliation. Here's what he posted. Iran just stated that they are going...
Stop this. Iran, no. Khalil, no. Yeah, that'll work.
To hit very hard today, harder than they have ever hit before. They better not do that. However, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before! Exclamation point from the commander-in-chief. And this is Israel. You hear the sirens sounding repeatedly as Iranian projectiles are flying toward population centers there. The top level of that country's vast air defenses working to intercept the barrage. Still, an Iranian ballistic missile struck west of Jerusalem, killed 9 people, injured nearly 50 others, including children. An Israeli military spokesperson says Israel has called up 100,000 reserve soldiers. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks is in Tel Aviv with the latest on this. Trey, it is nightfall there now, and sometimes we can see things tick up, although a lot of this has been playing out in the daytime. What is the latest?
Yeah, Harris, good afternoon. Throughout the day, we've watched as Iranian ballistic missiles soared through the skies of Israel, many of them intercepted by Israel's advanced air defense systems. But just outside of Jerusalem, one of those missiles slamming into a heavily populated area, killing at least 9 people, according to first responders. You can see crews here digging through the rubble, trying to put out the flames. Just a horrific scene. Tonight, Israel's prime minister addressing his country and the world, saying this.
Our forces are acting now in the heart of Tehran with increasing intensity, and it will only increase further in the coming days. And yet, these are painful days. Yesterday here in Tel Aviv, and now in Beit Shemesh, we lost dear people. My heart goes out to the families, and on behalf of all of you, citizens of Israel, I send strength to the wounded.
As the Israelis are continuing their airstrikes tonight against the Iranian regime, we know some protesters in Iran have taken to the streets. They are celebrating following this operation that was launched by President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that led to Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, being taken out. There were some small pockets of Iranians chanting "Death to America" in other locations. We're also here.
A much smaller group of people were like, "Death to America." Bro said Khamenei.
Hearing tonight from Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian, one of the few Iranian leaders still alive.
America and Israel should be aware that this will bring them nothing but shame. Our great nation, who are now mourning this great martyr, must foil the enemy's evil plans by being present in mosques and on the streets.
We also have some new video from the Israelis showing strikes earlier today in the Iranian capital of Tehran. I'm told by a senior Israeli security official that these strikes were taking out a building that the IRGC used to crack down on protesters earlier this year when President Trump says 32,000 civilians were killed. Now, Harris, I just got a message from a senior White House official who tells Fox News President Trump said new potential leadership in Iran has indicated they want to talk, and eventually he will talk. For now, Operation Epic Fury continues unabated.
It's so funny that Trump's like, no, they want to talk to me. And Iran's like, no, we're good. I don't understand why you're saying this is only Israel driving the war. America's wanted regime change in Iran for decades. Okay, brother. Americans don't know their ass from their fucking elbow. Who do you think in the United States of America, especially in contemporary American society, has been the driving force? Or do you think it's just a simple accident that they also happen to be the most pro-Israel individuals out here? Like, what are we talking about? You could have perhaps made an argument of uniparty if Barack Obama's administration didn't exist. Guy who literally gave Israel $38 billion on his way out. Guy who literally gave Israel $38 billion on his way out actually had an alternative vision to dealing with Iran. It was successful. It showed that if the goal here was to defang their nuclear program, they were capable of doing it. Also, once again, this is not just my assessment. You will hear this assessment from others as well. I know dumb fucks think. There's like dumb fucks in my replies and shit who think like, oh, you know, this is, you're getting red pilled. You're like, oh, dude, you're getting red pilled. You're like, you're naming the Jews or whatever the fuck they're saying. But there is an argument to be made about imperialism and Israel's. Obama admin had a different strategy to advance the interests of capital. Yeah, that's my argument, dumbass. Exactly. Yeah. And now, since Trump won, Israel is the one who's in the driver's seat. Joe Biden was an insanely pro-Israel person. Why do you think so many Democrats have such a hard time talking about the Trump administration's attitude towards Israel? Why do they never bring it up? Why do they never criticize it? Why do they rarely ever criticize it? Yeah, it's not Israel's interest superseding the American ones. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. They're not just doing what Israel wants. He's right. This is a longstanding goal of the Nazi establishment. They've always wanted revenge on Iran. Guys, you are out of your fucking mind if you don't think right now, the reason why we're doing this right now is not because of Israel. Israel is the least popular it has ever been. Israel has been able to defang, alongside the United States of America, over the course of the last 2.5 years, all of the acts of resistance in the region. But it also happens to be the least popular it has ever been. This is Israel's last shot. Okay? If America was still in the fucking driver's seat of its own Middle Eastern policy, they would not be going to fucking war with Iran. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. They're not just doing what he's right. It's a long-standing goal of the NASDAQ establishment. They've always wanted revenge on Iran, wanted to remove Iran's influence over the Strait of Hormuz, and wanted to remove Iran's role as a revisionist power. Israel is definitely very influential in these circles of the Gulf states, as are the Gulf states, but it's in line with U.S. policy as well. No, defanging or dealing with Iran and defanging Iran has always been an American foreign policy goal. Doing it right now in the way that we're doing it is Israel's doing. It's Israel's ambitions. It's Israel's wishes. 100%. This doesn't mean that America is like, I'm not like abdicating the responsibility of the American state, for the record. Make no mistake. Make no fucking mistake. It's just the way we're doing it and the time we're doing it. It absolutely is because this is the last opportune time for Israel to be able to do it before it's so politically consequential that they can't do it at all. You're being ridiculous. America would just as easily be happy with a completely defanged Iran existing as a sovereign state. Israel doesn't want that. America could be happy with a better relationship with the Iranian government. Iran is perfectly capable of having a better relationship with the American government. They beg for it. There's only one spoiler in this deal. The one spoiler in this deal, like, you can't even say that, brother. It's like having this conversation while Israel's literally talking about once Iran is done, we're going after Turkey next. What are you going to say then? Are you going to say America's long hated Turkey? Is that what you're going to say? A country that houses 7 fucking nukes inside of it? You're going to be like, America has long hated Turkey. Like, you're coping. You're coping. That's it. You're 100% coping.
Harris?
And what are you hearing from leadership there in Israel about, kind of the ramp up against Tehran at this point, specifically that?
I spoke with a number of Israeli officials today who indicate that they are speaking hourly with American counterparts to prepare for this to be a prolonged campaign. We understand there are a number of off-ramps worked into this, but the bottom line here is that both the Trump administration and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government are approaching this war with Iran through a peace through strength initiative. They are trying to pressure the Iranian regime by not only taking out their leadership, but depleting their ballistic missile stockpile and basically forcing them eventually back to the negotiating table, understanding that this is the largest military operation against the Iranian regime in history. Harris?
Trey Yingst, thank you for the late-breaking notes on that. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmer.
What the fuck happened to the video? Video went
this hour
private.
With Fox News Alert.
אני חושב שהמצב גובר.
America has numerous options of dealing with Iran. Israel is the only country that actually wants to completely destroy Iran. Even other Gulf nation states that have ideological battles or sectarian battles with or sectarian conflict with the Iranian nation, with the Iranian government, don't want Iran to be completely completely destroyed. Okay? Israel is the only country in the region that America is listening to in this incident, the way that they're going after. And also, I will say another thing. I don't believe the Wall Street Journal reports about Saudi Arabia also separately petitioning the American government. I don't believe it. I think that's fucking bullshit. I think right now there is, as you've also personally recognized and talked about, there's a separate security cooperation happening in the region, and Saudi Arabia has a lot of smoke for the UAE. Okay? They don't like Iran. We all know that. They've been diehard fucking anti-Iranians. I'm telling you, the reason why that Washington Post article came out was to just be like, no, Saudi Arabia still wants it too. They don't want it. They don't want it. It makes sense why they wouldn't want it, because they've already destroyed all of the proxy groups. They literally collaborated with the Iranian proxy in fucking Yemen after starving the Yemeni population in a genocide. They turned around and said, you know who we actually don't want in Yemen? The UAE. Yeah, you're wrong. I don't even think Saudi Arabia actually wanted this round of conflict with Iran. I don't even think that. I don't even believe that. I think there's one country in the fucking region. There's one country in the fucking region that wants it. There's one country in the world that wants it, and that is the nation state of Israel. It happens to be the only country that we ever give a fuck about anyway. Sucks, but it's just the truth. Ayman Mohialdin asked Representative Sarah Jacobs about Israel's role in the war against Iran. Jacob notes her family's in Tel Aviv. She takes Israel's security very seriously, but says Netanyahu has been trying to get U.S. presidents from both parties to pursue regime change in Iran for decades.
Follow up on that and ask you about the Israeli perspective in this, because Israel was the only country who participated in this militarily. And is there anything to be looked at there as to why the United States is going at this operation with the Israelis alone? I mean, we had Suzanne Maloney on from Brookings earlier, and she said she was somewhat suspicious of the Washington Post reporting this evening that suggested Saudi Arabia and Israel were pushing this war, and said Israel made it very clear why they want this war. The Saudis less so.
Look, my family lives in Tel Aviv. My aunt and uncle and cousin literally are texting me from the bomb shelter. So, I take Israel's security very seriously. It's literally my family. And Bibi Netanyahu has literally been trying to get presidents from both parties to do a regime change operation in Iran with him for decades.
People in Iran want regime change too, bro. Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's what you sound like, by the way. The chatters who were like, Hasan, you don't understand. Why are you shifting the blame over to Israel? It seems like you're abdicating the responsibility of America. America wanted this too. Clearly they wanted it enough that they're sending billions of dollars worth of assets. But if you don't think that America is operating at the behest of Israel here, almost single-handedly at the behest of Israel here, I don't know what to tell you. They literally are allowing their bases to be melted by Iranian drones, dude. They straight up pulled out their forces from their radar facilities, from their fucking bases, so that there's a bullet sponge there so that they can focus on defending Israel. It's nutty. It's unbelievable. Yeah, drones were basically useless for Iran during the 12-day war because they had to cross so much hostile airspace to get to Israel. But they're an unsolvable problem for the Gulf, and Iran can keep up this costly harassment for much longer than its missile stockpiles last. Yes. Israel is making the cost-benefit analysis. They recognize they are very tuned into Western approvals. They do need Western approval because the reality of the matter is, Israel understands that if the West collapses and if the Western world doesn't decouple from Israel, in the next decade, the Western world will collapse. 100%. I promise you that. Believe it, okay? If at this stage, with this level of unprecedented unpopularity, okay? At this level of unprecedented unpopularity, if the Western world does not decouple from Israel, if they don't change trajectory, they're fucked. Like, the democracy is over. It's done. because every day that passes, they're like, okay, this is not for me. This is for a foreign nation. A foreign nation who's very arrogant, very entitled, and is also dominating my life in ways that I never thought was possible. It's completely unacceptable. I don't think you guys understand, like how, I feel like you don't understand how angry people are. You know? Israel recognizes that too. And this is precisely the reason why it's their last option. It's their last best option to do this. Yeah, here is, whenever supporters of the 2015 Iran deal claimed it was preferable to war, critics took offense and insisted instead of military conflict, they could use maximum pressure to get a better deal. They never got a better deal. They got the war. Is Iran going to mine the Strait? I don't know if they'll mine the Strait because I feel like they've made it not very easy to traverse already. Abu Sanson, sleep my beauty. I'll tell you all about the events, my dear. Sen uyu güzelim. Ben sana anlatırım tüm olayları. Vay be ne güzel uyuyor ama. Krok Monsieur de yapmış. Vay amına koyayım. İyi sahur. Sometimes I feel like we're going for a simplistic answer that puts Israel as the 100% responsible party. No, there is no 100% responsibility in general. America is the one who's still moving their fucking units there. American politicians, either because they have Israel's dick launched far up their assholes or because of their own personal bloodlust, are totally on board with this. Okay? But like, what are we doing? There is no other country on the planet that we do this for. Please, please be fucking real, dude. Be fucking real. There is literally no other country that we do this for. Not a single one. There's no other country where we do this for. Whether it be our domestic policies in terms of like, in terms of straight up punishing American citizens at the behest of a foreign nation. Like you can straight up be an immigrant with a green card and say, fuck America and you're fine. But if you say, fuck Israel, you get deported. What the fuck are we talking about? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We treat Israel better than we treat any other country on the planet. We were fantasizing about invading Greenland not that long ago. There is no real reason as to why America is doing this beyond the fact that Israel's support is cratering in the Western world, and they know that they're running out of time for unlimited funds, and Iran is relatively weak, I guess, because it doesn't have its proxies in the region. But very clearly, it's not that fucking weak. Look at what they're doing now. Turns out Iran is not that weak at all, it seems. This entire time, their strategic restraint was genuinely strategic restraint for some fucking weird reason.
ההנהגה שלנו לא יציבה באופן קיצוני. והכניסה למלחמה הזאת, לא נדרש לטפל באיומים על ישראל, אבל הכניסה למלחמה הזאת עוד תביא לנו צרות, צרורות, להמשך הקיום שלנו פה. ותערער את הקיום שלנו פה באופן כבר מערערת, כבר מעורער כבר הרבה זמן. זהו.
מה זאת אומרת? אחלה מצב שבעולם. סוף סוף תקפנו את האיראנים. ועוד מעט יהיה לנו פה שקט לעוד 50, 60, 70, 100 שנה. יותר טוב מזה לא יכול להיות.
delusional.
I feel good. I feel safe. Everything is going to be okay. It's about time. I don't want to wait anymore for what's coming. Now it's coming. Let's finish it and let's start the day.
I swear to God, it's a fucking death call, bro. Israel is a death cult. Zionism is fascism, and fascism is a death cult. You know? It's like I'm reading a fucking history book about how fascism developed in Nazi Germany, you know? It's crazy.
We've got Purim in 3 days, celebration of freedom. And it's kind of the history repeats itself because it was with Iranian diamond passion and it's coming back.
I think it's something we had to do. We see our enemies trying to get us back into war and to attack and threaten us, and they didn't have enough, and we need to protect ourselves. And I think with the Arab enemies, we noticed, I'm 43, I've knew some wars in my life, that we have to be the first. We have to establish that we are strong, we are not scared, and we are here to protect our land.
At this point, the Iron Dome is done. Israel will hide as much as possible on the destruction that's happening. That's not a real video. I don't think. That doesn't look like a real video. Unless it's the Haifa. It looks like it's AI, but Haifa was struck for the record, but I don't think this is a real video. This is fake. Yeah, this is AI. Explosions don't look like that. Yeah, I think people are just trying to send me fake videos so they can clip me believing the fake video, but what is this? Was the oil tanker actually hit? I don't know. Liberal calling for the death. What's the penalty for treason again? What is this? Hassan Pakistan chat suicide bombing is dead just by a 10K shot head drone from China. Just make fucking drones. You can purchase them online in marketplace. China literally sells. Are these guys stupid? I mean, yeah, the answer is yes. Like, obviously, I'm not saying this is a good idea, man. Why is it that, like, I'm incapable? My ideological enemies are incapable of making a fucking joke about, like, the actual circumstances at play here. I'm literally memeing on the Taliban, you fucking idiot. Anyway, I don't really give a shit. Whatever. Suck my dick, dude. Oh, what's the death penalty? We gotta kill this guy.
The truth, I'm quite surprised that Israel is the first one to attack. I was expecting the United States to attack first. I'm not sure that it's good for Israel to be the first one, but once it's taken and once it's done, I think and the hope for a great change in the Mediterranean.
I'm standing here today above this synagogue in the Israeli community of Bet Shemesh, a place where an Iranian missile has struck today, killing.
Yeah, this cratered the shelter.
Multiple Israeli civilians. This wasn't a.
But the fact that they're doing this, the fact that they're showing this, I think they were trying to garner sympathy.
Military target.
They're not going to get it, ironically enough.
The Iranian regime purposely targets civilians. This is what we're up against. A terror regime.
Like, I'm sorry. It rings hollow when I hear it from an IDF commander. Oh, wow. You mean to tell me there's a terror regime targeting civilians? Wow. First of its kind, you say?
That uses civilian casualties as a war tactic.
People really hate you, and it's all the better to see time after time when you're vindicated on your own positions and just spreading the word of awareness. You keep fighting a good fight on the right side of history. Yeah. In English, too.
We'll target innocent civilians to advance that goal. We send our condolences to the family.
First time I've ever encountered such a thing in this region. You know? Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
The bombardments go on. In Tehran, the boom of destruction. American and Israeli forces renewing their assault. And it follows this. The Israeli military has now released fresh footage of this.
Fresh satellite imagery from planet suggests the Qatar early warning radar a $1 billion Raytheon FPS 132 system may have been damaged as claimed by Iran. May have? Brother, what the fuck are you saying? The 3M image is not definitive, but there is what could be burn scarring on the ground near the radar. Yeah, IDF demanding sympathy from the population, from the Western world is so fucking funny. It's not going to happen. People who are already pro-Israel are going to go, oh, I hate this. I can't believe it. Oh, this was awesome, yeah.
Your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all.
This is a war crime. This is a war crime. Targeting civilians, targeting...
Have you seen Gaza?
Elderly woman killing, murdering her caregiver from the Philippines. And the Iranian regime...
I bet you they're going to kick that guy out, by the way. Yeah. Iran has a right to defend itself 100%.
Is targeting not only us in Israel. They are targeting...
Like, the international rule-based order is not designed around only Israel getting to do offensive initiatives over and over again and then claim self-defense.
The entire region.
What about the 100 or so schoolgirls in Iran that have been killed in a strike there?
And this must stop. This must be stopped, and this is what we're trying to do. Yes, next question, please.
But what about those Iranian
let's
schoolgirls?
allow others. Please.
I'm Lomas from... But your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all.
This is the war.
All Israel has to do is release the 10K Palestinian hostages. Yeah. It's just like, it's not happening. It's not happening. Wait, it keeps going? Is it 2 minutes long?
We are aiming at military targets. But the Iranian regime is targeting our civilians, our children, our women, our elderly. But this is not only happening here in Israel. The Iranian regime is attacking the entire region. 8 countries. I repeat, 8 countries.
Only we get to attack those countries. Brother, you bombed Qatar. Like, you don't even get to say nothing. You have literally invaded Egypt. Like, you are annexing more and more territory in Syria. You are bombing children every day. Fuck you mean? You're like, only we get to do it. Iran does not have a right to defend itself at all.
In the region were attacked by ballistic missiles of Iran.
Yeah, Israel perfected liberal fascism, by the way. You know what I mean? They perfected it. They do this like soy right shit every fucking day. They're like, why have you called me a Nazi? I only care about National Socialism in Israel.
Not only Israel. Arab countries.
Yeah, my response to this is this.
By Iranian regime missiles. And we say it very clear. We don't have any fight, any quarrel with the Iranian people. The only objective, the only quarrel...
Hezbollah is back?
...is the Iranian regime.
Hezbollah is back? Hezbollah has entered the war. Urgent. Israeli Channel 12 on the army. Launch missiles from Lebanon towards northern Israel. Ooh. Let me see something. Let me see something. The attack currently targeting Haifa, Israel, originated from Lebanon, the IDF says. Ooh. Ooh. Someone said Hezi.
Murderous attacks. This is what it's all about. Now I'll take some questions, please.
Sikander Kamani from Channel 4 News. Khamenei, the Iranian regime, have clearly done terrible things, particularly to their own people. But your prime minister is a wanted war criminal. You don't have the moral high ground here at all.
This is a war crime. This is a war crime.
It is only a war crime if it happens to Israel, the only nation in the world. Tiny Israel. Israel, tiny nation. Size of New Jersey.
Targeting civilians, targeting elderly women, killing, murdering her caregiver from the Philippines. And the Iranian regime is targeting not only us in Israel, they are targeting the entire region.
What about the 100 or so schoolgirls in Iran that are being killed in a strike there?
And this must stop. This must be stopped, and this is what we're trying to do. Yes, next question, please.
Israel killed the live feed as soon as the Hezbollah attack started. Reports indicating that these are launches from Hezbollah. Israel killed the live feed. We've got impacts. At least 6 launches confirmed and reports of more than 1 explosion. No word on interceptors. Will update. Maybe we'll get some phone camera footage. Who knows? This is bad for Lebanon. Yeah, but Israel's got its hands a little too full right now, don't you think? Wasn't Hezbollah disbanded? No, but they were just like, they were dormant. New Donny Dunnon.
This week, Jewish families all around the world celebrate Purim. Many Israelis will do so now in a bomb shelter. The story of Purim happened more than 2,500 years ago, in the same place, in ancient Persia. An evil minister by the name of Haman sought to wipe out the Jewish people. And it began with words, with chants. It became a decree. It could have become a genocide. But Queen Esther refused to remain silent. She stepped forward. She spoke up. She acted before it was too late. That is the lesson we learned. It is not only an ancient lesson, it is a modern one.
This is the Amalek lesson, by the way, and he's doing it at the United Nations. I feel like they're flexing, you know what I mean? Did he get fatter? Yeah, he did. Every time a baby is murdered by Israel, he gets fatter and fatter. Him and Randy Fine both. Kurt Mills, the leading intellectual architects of this war, are already moving the goalpost to a small ground force in Iran. This is an out-of-control war, he says. I mean, I don't really care to hear this too much, but let's continue.
Blew up the compound of Ayatollah Khamenei, killing Iran's supreme leader.
For the record, the clashes are erupting between the Shia protesters and the Bahraini security forces after a demonstration condemning the assassination of Iran's supreme leader was dispersed, with Molotov cocktails reportedly thrown during the unrest. Yesterday, we were watching the Wow Mao video, and you motherfuckers were like, oh, Wow Mao's calling your ass out. They literally arrested Shia Bahrainis for celebrating the strikes on the American military base. A lot of you don't realize that there's a Shia minority population the Bahraini administration has suppressed actively, and they're continuing to do so. Oh, Bahrain is Shia majority. Isn't that Amalek story? Amalek was a guy who Allah told King Saul to obliterate. King Saul defeated Amalek, but kept the plunder and wealth in defiance of Allah's order to destroy this. Saul lost favor in the sight of the Lord King, and David was anointed to replace Saul. My mistake. What's your read on this? If Trump gets to a point where interceptors are running out, but Iranian missiles are still flying at a steady pace, and give it a 50-50, he launched a tactical nuke rather than face humiliation, and the Europeans will once again support him. I can see that. I can see that happening. And in the absence of And in the absence of any sort of like counterforce on the planet that says if you launch nukes, we're launching nukes ourselves, I don't think China's going to do it. I don't think fucking Russia is going to do it. In the absence of that, Trump might actually do it. Or Israel might even fucking do it, honestly. Trump might just get Israel to do it and then shift the blame over to them.
America continues to flex its formidable military might, even as news of US deaths emerged. But Iran has responded with both missiles and by declaring its determination to avenge its dead leader.
America and Israel should be aware that this attack will bring them nothing but shame. Our great nation, who are now mourning this great martyr, Khamenei, must foil the enemy's evil plans by being present in mosques and on the streets.
And this is what Iran's rage looks like.
Sometimes you feel like we deserve to be wiped out as a species. Don't worry. We're getting there.
The town of Beit Shemesh, just a short drive from Jerusalem, was hit by a missile. The explosion flattened a school, a synagogue, homes, and a bomb shelter where dozens had sought refuge. At least 9.
I could see North Korea presenting a nuclear deterrent for Iran before I see China doing it.
Are confirmed dead. Visiting the scene, one of the most prominent members of the Israeli...
Who's we? This has nothing to do with black and Asian people? Okay. Does this have anything to do with Arabs? You think Arabs and Persians in general, like, do you think they brought this upon themselves?
What do these people ever do to them? What do these babies do to harm them? They've never done anything bad for Iran. We don't even share a border with Iran. It was for no reason at all, except pure hatred for the sake of hatred. So
Pezeshkian waiting for his turn to soft effect by offering himself as a caretaker leader. Screenshot this. Delcy Rodriguez vibes.
I'm asking all those who defend them in the world. Who are you defending? Monsters.
The people we spoke to insisted this is simply a residential community with no targets of any military value. For many Israelis, the first day of this war was all about images of missiles being intercepted and bombing raids on Iran. But this is a very different scene. A school, a synagogue, homes demolished, and people killed. This attack makes the war very real for every Israeli.
This is what it is. This is what it looks like. And just for reference, this is one missile that hits and affects so many buildings and so many lives. So think about the amount
that we've done in Gaza, right? That's what you're going to say? Lieutenant Colonel Yochai Manhof. Think about what we've done in Gaza.
Of missiles that were on the way from Iran towards Israel in the last 2 days. So the damage can be immense.
Iran has continued its attack on Gulf nations. Smoke rising in Sharjah and Dubai. This high-rise building in Bahrain struck by a suspected drone. Iran's plan is to embroil as many nations as possible. In Oman, smoke billowing from a port. Shipping seen as vulnerable here. And that means Iranian attacks on shipping passing the Strait of Hormuz. This whole region has been rendered unpredictable. In Iraq, not typically Iran's friend, a huge rally to honor Khamenei's memory, broken up as it closed in on the American embassy. The Middle East is rippling, changing.
Why did you spend money on Israel-U.S. propaganda in LA? Thank you, Trump, from the Iranian people. Laura Loomer, God bless President Trump. Yeah, this will do it. That'll do it. People, yeah, I think the Iranian diaspora,
if you want,
leaning into an objectively unpopular president and objectively the least popular country in the Western world right now, is certainly going to cause more people to come on board with their cause, you know? Because literally two of the least popular figures right now in the Western world are like Donald Trump and fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. It's awesome. They're like, They're just straight up going, like, imagine, especially right now, imagine fucking going around and being like, thank you, pedophiles. We love you. These pedophiles are our pedophiles. And everyone else that's in the periphery that's watching, just know that these pedophiles are on our side. And you should also be on our side. You should join the pedophilia army. That's what it's like. Good luck. Hassan, Shocker, Gooning, Piker. I love my haters so much. They're just so fucking stupid. They can't even like... None of these guys that come in here to fucking chirp are capable of writing like a coherent narrative. They're just so angry that they just like slam their fucking keyboard. They just slam words together. They do word association. It's awesome. Lol, you get rage baited with low effort? Yeah, everyone in here was like, wow, you were brilliant.
To attack another country because you don't like its policies. Is that the world that we want to live in? Donald Trump and the Israelis, and now I see Keir Starmer saying that he's got aircraft, British aircraft in the skies, patrolling and defending.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that up top. Anytime Keir Starmer comes out and is like, I'm a puppy dog for the American empire, every time British media is going to slam that forever.
British aircraft in the skies.
Oh, yes. Yes, my good sir. Your papers are on the floor. Let me pick them up for you. I am your dog.
This is an act of international lawlessness, another act by Trump of international lawlessness, and it sends a signal to people around the world that might is right. And secondly, if might is right, then you jolly well better rush to get some nuclear weapons. If I was whoever runs Liechtenstein, the boss or president of it, I would have sent a banker to go to Pakistan to buy some pocket nukes. If this is the world that we are going to live in, then my goodness me, nobody in their right mind would not have nuclear weapons.
Donald Trump is a hero, not only him and Netanyahu, who did the dirty job for us. We couldn't do 47 years of execution, getting killed, getting raped.
Donald Trump is a hero.
Enough is enough, and they did the dirty job for us. I don't care about international law. As long as we don't get killed, we don't get executed, we don't get raped.
So, Yashar, if you don't care about international law, do you care about what's happening in Ukraine?
When moral things come to consideration, I don't care.
Okay, so Yashar, what would you say to China if they would invade Taiwan tomorrow on a moral basis? What's your argument going to be?
If there is a moral case,
there is. I want Taiwan.
There is not. There is
yes,
not.
There is. There is. The Chinese moral case is I want Taiwan because I believe that it should be reunified with me. That is the moral case.
It's not moral, Ali. It's not moral.
It is.
Taiwanese people are not getting killed by their own governments. We were getting killed, raped, executed.
Yashar, morality.
The
morality lies in the eye of the beholder, my friend. If you go down that road, and you're entitled to go down that road, then don't bleat when China invade Taiwan, and don't bleat.
I mean, he doesn't give a fuck if China invades Taiwan. Also, it's so, like, I love that this argument is like, I know that we're currently doing the fucked up thing, but what if another country would do a fucked up thing instead? Like, what is this argument? I don't know why people think that like hypocrisy matters when it comes to American dominance. And even people on my side do this as well. I know AOC has brought up like hypocrisy is a national security weakness. It's like America has never had a non-hypocritical moment post World War II. Okay. Like I was there. Like Russia literally invaded Ukraine and then said, the fuck are you talking about? You guys invaded Iraq. You guys invaded Afghanistan. And when I brought up the point that what Russia was doing was similar to what America had done, Americans got mad at me and they said, how dare you compare Russia's actions? They're actually so much worse because that's Russia doing it and not us doing it. They didn't understand when I compare a country, a foreign adversary, to the United States of America. I'm actually giving them the maximum worst designation that I possibly can. But they don't get it. If Taiwan is a province, the Maldive Islands belongs to Argentina. I think AOC is right about that because in the case of Russia, Ukraine, the U.S. likely would have gotten more support from the global south and other states if they did actually see a difference between the U.S. and Russia. But the reason why they don't see a difference between the U.S. and Russia, also, what fucking good does it make? What good is it if the global south defends Russia or America? America doesn't give a shit. Malvinas. Sorry, not Maldives. Malvinas. Oh shit, it may have been Hezbollah, not Iran, that struck the British base? Wait, what?
Between Cyprus and they said that there are a lot of missiles between Cyprus and Beirut. And they said that there are...
Oh shit. What the fuck are they doing? They're crazy, bro. Something is going down in Haifa. AP and Reuters have both cut their feeds. Yes, it is Hezbollah, I think. Hezbollah, I think, has started throwing bombs in Israel's direction. What is this? Groypers of Muslims want me murdered for exposing the woke Reich as an Islamic movement. They want to murder me. The Islamic terrorists in Texas who shot up a bar in Austin last night obsessively tweeted at me, "We are truly surrounded by enemy combatants. Deport all Muslims." I think there's more than just Muslims that want to do that to Laura. Oh yeah, Nick Fuentes is woke now. He wants his Groyper army to vote Democrat in the midterms. I swear to God, establishment Democrats are going to hug and kiss Nick Fuentes before they recognize what I have to say is good for them.
When Russia invade Ukraine. Your argument about international law is totally and utterly redundant because you have made it redundant by saying it doesn't matter because morals matter. If morals matter, he who has the morals decides what they are and calls the tune if they have the power to call the tune, and that's all that matters. We're in a might is right world, my friend. Why is it in British taxpayer and citizens' interest to get involved in a messy war in the Middle East? Why?
To avoid terrorism in this country.
Which Iranian terrorists are coming here?
Sorry, have we not had terrorists in this country before?
Yeah, from
Iran.
Iran.
Have we not had terrorists in Manchester?
What's the link with Iran?
Did we not have terrorists in London on the 7th of July in 2005?
And what is their link with Iran, Spencer? Do you know what their link with Iran is?
I'm sure MI5 could show you.
No, Spencer. You came on and you said there was a link. I'm asking you to explain to me the exact link. Please go ahead.
If you look on the internet, I'm sure you will
No, Spencer. No, not I am sure. No. If you look at 7/7, the inspiration came from Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda had nothing to do with Iran whatsoever. I was asking you specifically about the link to British terrorism, of which you have provided the sum total of nothing. If you want to go around and advocate for intervention in the Middle East, you need to do a little bit better than that.
We want to go to Tehran right now because we're being joined by the Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Mr. Foreign Minister, thank you for joining us this morning. Who's in charge of Iran right now?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me in your program. Well, I think now there is a procedure set in our constitution that when we lose the supreme leader, there would be a new one elected by the Assembly of Experts. And now
this is literally war by Reddit intellectuals.
We have, started the procedure. There is a transitional council.
Is it bad that I think he's hot? There's something crazy going on. Have you guys seen photos of Khamenei as well without the headgear? Bro literally has a two-head, or had a two-head. It's actually kind of crazy. I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know Iranians had like the craziest hair genes, dude.
Of the president, the head of judiciary, and one jurist of the Guardian Council. These three would decide, are in charge right now, and they will actually arrange the election of the new leader by the Assembly of Experts. And the members of the Assembly of Experts are elected themselves by the people, every 4 years. Or every.
We've just reported that 40 senior commanders were killed in the first minutes of the strike. How much damage has this done to your military infrastructure?
Well, we have lost some commanders, that is a fact, and the names are already announced. But another fact is that nothing has changed in our, military capability. This is exactly what happened last time. You remember in June when Israel attacked us, they killed some of our top commanders at the beginning of the strikes, but they were replaced very soon. And in less than 12 hours, we were able to start retaliation. This time, it was even, faster. In less than 2 hours, we started to retaliate by attacking, Israeli targets and American bases in the region. And we have continued to do so. Our military is in place. They are capable enough to defend our country. Even more, they are more prepared and capable than previous war, before 12-day war. Quality-wise, quantity-wise, they are in a better position. And I think you have seen how they, acted so far.
President Trump issued a warning overnight, warning the Iranians not to retaliate. He said they better not do that. If they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. How do you respond?
Well, I don't think any leader of a country has the right to say so. We are defending ourselves, and we have every legitimate right to defend ourselves. What the United States is doing is an act of aggression. What we are doing is the act of self-defense. There are huge differences between these two. So one should tell, the President of the United States, do not attack, do not, make any aggression against another country. But nobody can tell us that you don't have any right to defend yourselves. We are defending ourselves, whatever it takes. And we see no limit for ourselves to defend our people, to protect our people. Just look, yesterday they struck against a school. So far, 148 girls, students have been killed. And this is a big massacre. This is a war crime. And you say we don't have any right to defend ourselves?
You say you want to protect your people.
Hospital.
You say you want to protect.
What can you even say to the people that are celebrating the regime change, even though they've killed hundreds of Iranians already? There were celebrations in Milan, and I have no idea what to say to the Iranians that were celebrating this. Some of these guys are long gone, brother. It's just not going to happen. I think you just should make a policy not to. If you have loved ones who are like good friends and loved ones that are in like the diaspora Iranian community, maybe you can have a conversation with them and like explain to them that this is identical to like Iraq. There were plenty of people in Iraq that were celebrating the fall of Saddam. Saddam was ruthless. He was brutal. But at the end of the day, those people either took up arms against America or greatly they hated that initial decision. Look at Iraq now. That's number one. And number two, there are some people that you cannot fucking argue with. Like there are always, in my experience, I found out that there are just some members of the diaspora that are just so permanently right-wing. You're not going to be able to have a normal conversation with them. Like, they're just as MAGA brain poisoned as like the average hog is in this country. So either talk to them about everything else and not this issue at all, or, you know, if this is all they want to talk about, then it's up to you. You know, maybe you don't talk to them.
Like your people, but your own regime, according to the estimates we've seen over the last several months, is responsible for the killing of up to 30,000 of Iranian citizens.
Well, I have.
Khamenei was no Saddam, though. Yes, I don't think. Wait, I can't tell if you're saying Khamenei is worse than Saddam, because Khamenei was not worse than Saddam, I don't think. Khamenei just happened to be in charge of Iran for a lot longer than Saddam reigned over Iraq. It's really hard to convince someone to have consistent politics when it comes to their native country. True with most diasporas, people who are woke in the U.S. but super racist when it comes to their home country are supportive of right-wing governments. Yeah, I mean, Israel. Literally every, like, progressive every progressive Zionist. Like, there was a reason why there was a thing called Progressive Accept Palestine in left circles for years and years, because there were a lot of people who are like some of the most woke motherfuckers you ever met, right?
We have already answered this accusation. You know, let me to explain. We were faced with a terrorist operation.
Khamenei was worse than Saddam, bro. Had a harem of Slovenian femboys. The media doesn't want you to know. What the fuck are you saying?
It was first protesters, demonstrations.
To the people of Iran, Khamenei is as bad as Saddam. Okay, it doesn't even matter whether he's as bad as Saddam or worse. It doesn't matter. All these people that fucking celebrated the fall of Saddam, who straight up fucking genocided the Kurds. Okay, so I think many of you just don't know enough about Saddam, but for a lot of, like, he used chemical weapons. Like, come on, dude, that's crazy. Like, it's not even a comparison, in my opinion. Yeah, Saddam committed 2 genocides, invaded neighboring countries like 3 times. I think he was worse than Khamenei. I think people just have a little bit of a recency bias here. Yeah. But regardless of the evil Olympics that you're trying to do here, Saddam's fall was worse for Iraq than if they had kept the government intact, if America never invaded. Do you understand? BB, don't react. They're clipping you. My argument here is not like, oh, well, there is a range of like evil where it automatically triggers American military intervention, is appropriate or whatever. For both of these countries and both of their leadership, like, a lot of people don't realize that American bombs and American intervention, that's a crazy comparison. I'm Iraqi and that's a crazy comparison. People are crazy. Yeah. American intervention doesn't yield prosperity for the country at all.
Legal, according to our constitutions, our people have the right to protest and to go for gatherings and demonstrations. They did it from 28 December to 7 January. We had legal protests. Everything was fine and nobody was killed. And then on 8 January to 10, we faced with a terrorist operation. Armed elements were added to this question. And they started to shoot at our police forces, our security forces, and then they started to shoot at ordinary people, even to protesters. Why? Because they wanted to increase the number of deaths. Since the president of the United States had already said that if there are killings, he would come to rescue. So they wanted to actually drag him to this question. So they started to kill people. So that was a terrorist operation for 3 days, and the number of killings were exactly 3,117. And the names of those victims, all of those victims have been already published by us, together with their identification number. If anybody claims that the number is more, as you said, 30,000, 50,000, whatever, please show one evidence. Please add one more name to the list we have already published. So please be fair. Out of those 300, 100 people, we have announced 2,500 as martyrs because they were killed by terrorist elements. 200 of our police forces have been killed by those terrorist elements. If somebody shoot at a police department officer in the United States, how do you react? Do you just give him permission to do whatever he wants because he is a protester? No. So please distinguish between two different stories.
Oh, the hypocrisy of Hasan. Won't even finish as a guy lies his ass off. React, bro. What do you want me to fucking say, man? What do you want me to say? Yeah, he actually fucking totally deserves it. Like Iran deserves it. Something. No, you're right. Iran deserves. Do you believe this guy? Guys, there absolutely was agitation from Israel and America. They openly fucking stated it. That doesn't mean that the Iranian government's reaction was appropriate in any way, shape, or form. It also has nothing to do with this current bombing campaign. What do you want him to say? Fucking, yes, we slaughtered our own citizens and we're welcoming the bombing campaign where you're slaughtering even more of our own citizens. It's only appropriate if you fucking kill our citizens. It's justified when you do it. Like, what is this fucking conversation? He's absolutely right. They were armed Israeli astroturf agitators. How does any police force from Beijing to Washington deal with something like this? No differently. If anything, they crack down harder. And this gives the IRGC a valid out to not meet workers' demands. Not that that was an option in the sanctions and financial manipulation to core this tone around. There were people. The initial merchant strike and merchants protests came as a direct consequence of the sanctions. Okay. And then it built into something much larger, and there were absolutely foreign agitators in it, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the Iranian government did what it does all the fucking time, which is aggressively stamp out protesters, utilize the American and the Israeli government's response to the protests that very clearly said Mossad operatives are doing this protest with you. Okay? The lie he's saying is who killed the protesters? And of course, he's the head of a fucking foreign state. Of course he's going to fucking lie. The Iranian government's response in this circumstance was unimaginably violent. And the Iranian government's lie in the aftermath of the protest was, oh, it's all... everyone that got killed by, Mossad agents or whatever. That's bullshit.
Stories.
Well, we have seen evidence of newborns killed.
Oh, yes, Iran killed no protesters now. Is that what I said? At least you admit it. Oh, yes, Iran killed no protesters now. Is that what I said? I said the exact opposite. Why do you even tune in? Why do you even fucking tune into the broadcast if you're just not going to listen to what I have to say and just write what you think I said? This is not even a pancakes waffle situation. This is me saying pancake, pancake, pancake over and over again. And you going, wow, you never said pancake. Like, this is worse than having little listening comprehension. This is like you hear the opposite of the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth.
Children's killed, and the numbers are certainly higher than what you have claimed.
Yes.
Are those who are celebrating in the
Yes,
streets right now subject to the same kind of discipline?
Because they were blind shootings at the ordinary people, at ordinary cars who were passed through the streets.
HasanAbi is fitting in for the IRGC, shaking my head. Yeah.
People were killed, blindly by these terrorist elements because they were ordered by Israel at that time. They were instructed to kill people and give a big number of.
This has nothing to do with. This has nothing to do with this was. U.S. isn't here to save the protesters. There were no agitators when they killed 4,500 protesters in 2022 to 2023. Yes.
Killings to the President of the United States. We have their voices, the instructions which coming from Mossad, from outside to these terrorist elements.
Do you believe their numbers? I think the numbers that they gave were like 3,500 or something. And they said that the bulk of it was like Mossad protesters killing people, which I don't believe. I think the number, the estimates I've seen from like HRNA are around 7,000. But the 30,000 number is fucking made up. Like that's just made up. I don't know why people, they can't even agree on the fucking made up number. It's so crazy. Sometimes it's like 50,000. I've heard 50,000. And if you can't comprehend that the reason why Zionists within the media are actually greatly increasing those numbers in an effort to make Israel's genocide look not as bad in comparison, and they don't even hide that, by the way. They just like straight up say it. Like pro-Israel people straight up will be like, pro-Israel people will straight up fucking be like, oh, it's so, that's what Iran did is a genocide. What Israel did wasn't a genocide. Like they straight up say that.
Who are ordering them that kill police officers, if not police.
Also, none of this matters because 7,000 or even 3,000, the most conservative estimate that is given by the government or whatever the government says is still fucking unacceptable. What are we talking about? Except none of that is pertinent to the conversation of whether it's appropriate to fucking bomb Iran or not.
Kill the boy and girl in front of you because they wanted killings.
Is the negotiated settlement with the United States still possible?
Well,
and no, the reason why I say the HRNA numbers are at 7,000 is because that's not a fucking Iranian group at all. It's not like an independent investigation either, okay? The reason why I bring up the HRNA numbers is because that's the most anti-Iranian number, like the most anti-Iranian group's numbers, okay? I'm sorry. It is virtually impossible for any state to kill 30,000 people in a matter of fucking 2 days. What are we talking about? Israel leveled the entirety of Gaza for like the first month and it didn't reach that number. What are you talking about? Like that's, if you truly think that the Iranian government is capable of killing 30,000 people in a matter of a week, okay? What weapons do you think they used? What weapons do you think they fucking used? Do they have a new type of weapon that we have not seen? Because think about it this way. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Do you know how many people were killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? 52,000 people. Did Iran deploy a fucking nuke on its own citizens? I've heard 50,000 as a number being floated around. Is that what Iran used? They actually did have a domestic nuclear program. They just choose not to use it on anybody else but their own people? Like, what are you talking about?
You answered this question. We negotiated with the United States twice in the past 12 months, and in both cases, they attacked us in the middle of negotiation. And that has become a very bitter experience for us. In last June, we were negotiating. We had 5 rounds of negotiations, and we had already fixed the 6th round for 15 June when the Israeli attacked us, and then the US joined the attack. And this time, we had 3 rounds. Last Thursday, we had a very good discussion, very good talks in Geneva. Both Iranian and the US delegation were happy at the end of 7 hours of negotiations. And I can go into the details of what we agreed and how a deal was at our reach. And when
I don't understand your point. What difference does it make? 7K is still far too many. Yes, I agree. the reason why I'm stressing this is because a lot of people who are pro-Israel use this number in an effort to undermine what Israel did in Gaza. And it's not like they keep that interest hidden. A lot of people don't understand what it looks like to kill 30,000 people. We know what it looks like to kill 30,000 people. Okay? We've seen it. Israel's done it in Gaza.
We concluded the Omani foreign minister, who was
Also, I said the exact same thing that I just read from you as a commentary on this. Yes, 7,000 is an insane number. It's completely unacceptable. Anyway, here is the impact coming in. Here's the secondary impact, by the way. Oil futures surged and stock futures fell sharply in the first trades since the U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iran began.
Impartial intermediator between us, he concluded by saying in his post that we made significant progress this time. We were able to come to a good understanding on some of our differences. Some other differences were left for the next meeting, and we decided to go for Vienna, to send our technical teams to Vienna on Monday, which means tomorrow, to go to the IAEA, and with the help of the International Atomic Energy Organization, try to find technical solutions for the political problems. And we both believed, both delegations believed that this is possible. So a deal was at our reach, and we left Geneva happily with the understanding that we can reach a deal next time we meet. And it was very unfortunate that those who are against peace, against diplomacy, against negotiation, when they understood that diplomacy is going on well, they decided to spoil it, and they created a build-up in the media, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against, the desires of us, against, and they.
Americans scrambled to leave the Middle East amid strikes. Footage from on the ground near the southern Iranian city of Shiraz captured an MQ-9 Reaper with the U.S. Air Force firing an AGM-114 Hellfire air-to-surface missile against a ballistic missile launcher that had revealed itself and was preparing to launch against Israel or other countries in the Middle East. They took out not an MQ-9, but they took out an Israeli one earlier today. The Iranians did. If no matter the number is unacceptable, what would have been acceptable to you? There are videos from all over the country, ambulances and buses being burned by agitators, Molotov cocktails thrown at children, agitators shooting in the crowds of civilians. What should the government have done if trying to stop this with armed force was unacceptable? The government should have not allowed itself to be a fucking leaky faucet as a matter of national security by being a repressive force upon the Iranian population for far longer before this last iteration of protest took place. I know that the primary source of the anger and the primary source of the protest still stem from the economic struggles that Iranian people experience as a consequence of the sanctions. But as I've repeatedly explained over and over again, there are certain tools at your disposal. And one of those tools is always going to be to let up on the maximalist the maximalist demands that you have of the population. Israeli media is claiming an Israeli. Oh God, why are we talking about this right now? Again, it doesn't matter. Will you shut the fuck up about it when America, the Amer-Israeli kill count reaches a higher number than what they suspect the Iranian government killed? Is that when we're going to shut the fuck up about this? Or will you say, no, it's actually appropriate to do that? Only America and Israel get to kill Iranians, you know? This is exactly the same shit that they tried to do with Hamas. Oh, we are freeing Gaza from Hamas. We are freeing Gaza from Hamas. Hamas kills gays, throws them off the roofs.
Shockwaves across the Middle East this morning as Iran lashes out in response to US and Israeli...
Why do we have to shut up about it? What do you mean? Your chat? Like some of these motherfuckers deserve to be on a watch list? Yeah, guy who wants more government surveillance while also simultaneously mad about government repression from the Iranian government. Guy who's like, I'm really mad about the Iranian government's forms of repression, but also the American government should put you in Guantanamo Bay. What the fuck are you? Do you not understand that you're a fucking moron? Like,
strikes.
You would be the IRGC dick rider in Iran, for the record, idiot.
No way, that's why it's so loud.
Missiles and drones raining down on at least 8 countries across the region, forcing millions to take shelter. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, the UAE, Jordan and Iraq, all in the firing line. Every major US base in the region in Iranian sights. Oman also struck. The country that had mediated now abandoned talks. Defense systems intercepting hundreds of projectiles, but some finding their targets and falling debris causing serious damage. The Gulf is home to millions of foreigners and an important transport hub, now paralyzed by airspace closure.
The captain actually said, due to military conflict or military escalation in the area and due to airspace restrictions, we have to turn back. It was just pretty much widespread panic on the plane.
And Americans who were just visiting the region unsure if or when they'll be able to get home.
A lot of explosions, a lot of warnings, a lot of jet sounds.
And now US...
This is what I was literally worried about in Qatar.
Diplomatic missions abroad are being targeted by angry crowds. The US consulate in Karachi stormed, and clashes near Baghdad's Green Zone, where the US embassy is located. Embassy staff and the roughly 35,000 US military personnel in the Middle East all now on high alert. In Tehran, with the internet almost completely cut, the situation is unclear, but some videos are emerging of crowds cheering the death of the supreme leader. And this morning, despite Israeli efforts to kill him, Iran's president, apparently still alive, vowing revenge, saying the supreme leader was martyred at the hands of the most wicked villains in the world, and that his killing is considered a declaration of open war on Muslims, especially Shiites, in all corners of the world. US allies might be urging calm, but right now no one is listening. In a joint statement, the prime ministers of Germany, France and the United Kingdom saying they condemn Iranian attacks on countries in the region in the strongest terms, calling for the resumption of US-Iranian negotiations. Many in cities across the globe are welcoming the news of Khamenei's death, but many question the legal basis for his killing.
Now, the UN is calling for restraint. They're calling on Iran, Israel and the United States to de-escalate. They're worried about a wider regional conflict. But I've got to tell you guys, it feels like we are already there. Whit.
James Longman for us. Thank you so much.
Iran has vowed.
I need you guys to understand something. The American and Israeli bombing campaigns right now are not directed at regime loyalists, okay? They are very carefully and very deliberately, and you're not going to get this from any Western news outlet at all, unfortunately, but they are very carefully and very deliberately striking police precincts, hitting border patrol in the Iranian border regions. They are actively trying to create an environment of destabilization, because the goal here is not even to do regime change. Because in order to successfully do a regime change, you must have a regime. You also need popular support for the regime, or you need boots on the ground to defend the regime. They don't want to send troops. They're not going to send troops into Iran. It would be a fuck fest. Okay? It's the same dishonest black and white thinking that's allowed for the Palestinian genocide. You're not allowed to say the Iranian government is an extraordinary repressive force while also stating that decapitating them will be extraordinarily catastrophic. Same as you can't disagree with Israel's actions in Palestine without being called anti-Semitic. It's a purposeful and intentionally dull point of view. Bombing multiple police stations and attacks on border posts suggest that they are not attempting to do regime change, but cause the dissolution of the society in general. Right now, the only hope for the Iranian population is unironically the IRGC holding shit together. Okay? It gives me no pleasure to say this. I know that people will get mad at me and say, how dare you say this? The IRGC is a ruthless regime that has killed Iranian people. What comes after the dissolution of the IRGC? What comes after a complete failure of a state will be far more consequential and far more deadly for the Iranians. Okay? It's just the truth. There is no Reza Pahlavi coming in to usher in liberal democracy. You are going to have super ISIS. Okay? Partially directly in the hands of ISIS, ironically enough. If there's a group of people that fucking despise the Iranian population the most and the IRGC the most, it's ISIS. So these bombing campaigns are not, I mean, there's no such thing as like bombing a country to destabilize it enough to like bring about regime change anyway. That's bullshit. That's never happened and it's never going to happen. But the way that they're bombing currently shows that they are not even invested in bringing in a force, a puppet state, or anything of that sort, which would look like Iraq or Afghanistan. Even in Libya, they had popular mobilization on the ground because they had a bunch of fucking Salafist brigades in Libya. Okay? They don't even have that inside of Iran because Iran is more intact than Libya. Iran has more control over its own society than Libya did. They're trying to rid that state apparatus to the best of their ability. They're trying to erode that state apparatus. Okay? And the reason why they want to erode it is so that while all the Iranian diaspora right now fucking are waving these flags, waving the old Iranian flag, like whatever, the Persian flag with the lion in it, what they fail to comprehend is what comes next. If the IRGC completely falls, completely collapses, and I'm not saying this because like, oh, it's great, IRGC is punishing, the enemies of Palestine or whatever. I'm straight up telling you right now, if the IRGC cannot keep the country intact, what comes after is going to be enormously consequential. Okay? It will be unlike anything you've ever seen before. There is no good outcome here. It's all bad outcomes, and the least bad outcome here is that the IRGC keeps shit together for as long as they can while America and Israel back away through this war of attrition because it's far too costly and it melts the economy too much. And then they have to find like a more reasonable cessation of hostilities. I think it's the opposite. The RGC is the most likely to form a military government that will make a deal with the West. The RGC is the largest corporate entity in Iran that is interested in maintaining its hold on commercial activity. Yes, I agree. I know. That's what I think is going to happen eventually. The problem is Israel doesn't believe that. Israel doesn't want that. Israel does not want the least bad of all of the worst outcomes here would be if there's a tit for tat, a back and forth, and then America goes, all right, enough to Israel. Enough. You gave us too much bad intelligence. You brought us into this. You told us a lie. And now my own people in the MAGA base are screaming at me because American military members are coming back in the American flag draped coffins. And I'm already at the historically low popularity that I've been at. You're fucking up the bag. Jamie Dimon is giving me phone calls being like, you got to put an end to this dumbass. And eventually they cut a deal with the IRGC to keep the government intact. And, they let like foreign capital flow into the country somehow. But Israel has to be kicked out of the equation. If Israel is still in the driver's seat, that will never happen. That is the least bad scenario. That is the least bad scenario. It's also not the most likely scenario. Let's be real. But if you think that there is going to be, salvation coming at the end with, Reza Pahlavi, coming in with a fucking parachute and being able to like mobilize popular support for himself, you're fucking out of your mind.
To punish the US and Israel for killing its supreme leader and starting a war.
Like, look, this is your guy. Like, this is the guy for the diasporoids.
There
Look.
is still vowing revenge.
This man doesn't have a plan for anything. Anytime he opens his mouth, it becomes abundantly clear. He never discusses specificities, a concrete vision for how he intends to lead the transition. Absolutely clueless clown. He doesn't even want to do this. It's just like Israel. Literally. He doesn't even want to do it. He was fine having his wife get fucked by the fitness instructor and like living in Maryland or whatever the fuck. He is literally Israel's puppet.
Revenge. How does this transitional government look when you have Persians, Shia, Sunni, secular government? What do you envision?
Well, Maria, obviously, I think this campaign is this time something not just to set back the Iranian nuclear program or anything like that. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. The Iranian people has suffered too much to settle for anything less than that. But as soon as the transition plan is put into gear, we want to make sure that we address the issue immediately, to make sure that we have the ability to have a stable process, to obviously lead to ultimately a democratic outcome so the Iranian people get to choose their future government and system. What we need to do now is to make sure that we bring all the elements that can help that process into place. I was talking earlier today with Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a good friend of Iran. In fact, people now call him lovingly Uncle Lindsey for his position. And he talked to me earlier saying that he would try to organize a bipartisan group at Senate level for us to present that plan. Both the administration and Congress will understand better what we have in mind, and we'll get more into the details. You and I had talked about the IPP project, Iran Prosperity Project, before, and the first 100-day, critically important of how we do that for the initial transition. I've been working with a number of Iranians from across the spectrum that are united in on this purpose. We have the most diverse coalition of people dedicated to that process, representing different parts of the country, including religious minorities, ethnic groups that are all aligned in this national project that we have. So I feel extremely confident that we get this into place and make sure that
I still don't understand what is the maximalist position on W for Israel here. Completely collapse Iranian society as it stands. Death and destruction befalls Iran. Iran falls into sectarian and ethnic conflict, and there's no state that remains. And they'll deal with like the impacts of it as it comes along, because it will actually be consequential for Israel as well as it will be for every other country in the region, including Europe, including pretty much anywhere that refugees will go to, right? But Israel gets to do greater Israel without any fear or any scrutiny whatsoever. That's it. That's Israel's goal here. Israel's goal is to destroy the Iranian civil society, to destroy the Iranian state in and of itself, to collapse it completely. Lindsey Graham literally openly said it. Yes. Lindsey Graham literally said he does not care if clerics get to stay in power. Diaspora and protesters in Iran who are naive enough to the nature of U.S. intervention are in for a rude awakening. No, but Lindsey Graham also said they don't care about what happens after. Lindsey Graham was asked straight up, is there hope for the Iranian population? He said, no. Because Lindsey Graham does not care about what happens to Iran. Okay? They just want to break it. They don't want to build it. What the American government has learned from both neocons and perhaps more consequentially Barack Obama with what he did in Libya is that it's not, the problem was the nation building aspect. You can just go in and break shit and then say, sorry, it's your fault, you deal with it, and fuck right off. It's when you stay behind for 20 plus years, that is the problem. Okay? He literally said, Lindsey Graham said, not our problem when asked, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Iran? They're dropping bombs over Tehran right now. Yes, they've been going crazy mode. They've been doing carpet bombing on Tehran tonight And I guess they haven't stopped doing it, which is crazy because they told people to go out and fucking protest. As I told you yesterday, they're slowly but surely going to increase the dial of cruelty. Okay? They're slowly but surely going to increase the dial of cruelty. They're going to go in and they're going to kick it up a notch over and over again. This is not because they want to fucking blow up like missile launchers or whatever. No. Once they realized that there is not going to be any sort of like popular rebellion in the country, once they realize that there's not going to be a popular rebellion in the country, they're saying, all right, fuck it. It's the nuclear option. They are going to try to turn Tehran into Gaza. They are currently directly bombing the family members of the motherfuckers who were cheering this bombing campaign on here in the United States of America. It was eventually going to get there. It was always going to get there because there's no principled approach here. The goal here was never to actually stabilize Iran. If they wanted to deal with a stable Iran, a sovereign Iran, well, Barack Obama tried that. And we saw exactly how Israel reacted to that. Do you understand? Do you understand why when people come to me and they say, well, what about the Iranian government? What about the Iranian government? Look. Look. Neocons learned a lesson from Obama's Libya intervention, that it's actually far better. There were numerous techniques of intervention that was implemented. You got Syria on the one hand, again, costly, too sophisticated, too difficult to pull off. You got Libya, which was less costly, and they were in and out, boom, boom, boom. Not a single asset was harmed in the process. They did some bombing campaigns, and they did a no-flight zone over Libyan air, and they fucked off. And look at Libya now, a country that's basically sliced in half with open-air prisons and shit.
Holy shit! Oh my god. I don't know what that fucking thing is, but sounds like hell. Holy shit.
Is there no oil in Iran, or was this just a toppler regime? No, oil is the benefits.
Holy shit.
Look at this shit, dude. Yes, this is Tehran. Of course it's Tehran. There's no fucking, there's no defense systems. Do you think Russia would get directly involved supporting Iran? Europe is going full Nazi if the Iranian state collapses. They already are crazy about Syrian refugees. Imagine what will happen when 30 million Iranians will try to flee. Yeah, all of the diasporas are going to learn a very different lesson about how the fucking European Nazis feel about their presence and their existence on European soil, for the record. That's the other side of the story. But people never learn. People never fucking learn. I don't know. Hasan, but there's protests supporting this in LA right now? Yeah, I know. I don't give a shit. There were fucking people supporting the American intervention in Iraq too. Yeah, this bizarre statement can probably be taken as a hint that more casualties have already been incurred that have not been disclosed yet. and whose announcement will be staggered over time to avoid generating immediate domestic pressure to end the operation. And I agree with that too. 100% that's what's going on. That's why when he said, oh, more casualties will happen as well, they're signaling that a lot more people died in armed services, but they're just not saying it right now. Because if they found out that like 500 soldiers fucking died yesterday, the American public would be up in arms. Love how the mods delete chats that go against what you say. There you go. I'm not saying the number is 500, by the way. I'm just saying if it's something much higher than, 3. Nearly a dozen KC-135R/T Stratotankers with the U.S. Air Force have departed air bases tonight in Spain, bound for bases in Germany, the UK, and other countries in Europe. With it, the possible that Spain has ordered the withdrawal of U.S. aerial refueling fleet from the country in protest of the ongoing conflict with Iran. There was a medevac rescue heli that's used for airlifting dead and injured flying around last night. Sikorsky HH-60W Jolly Green 2, possibly bringing in injured personnel from Bahrain to Doha International Airport. This is a dedicated combat rescue helicopter. Yeah, that makes sense. Iranian flag and photos of regime leaders were found in the gunman's apartment. Sources tell. Camilla reports. DeSeymour on CBS News. Yes, they're gonna. They're already doing. They're already hitting this. When I said, like, come on, man, people were trying to be like, oh, you just love that terrorism is happening or some shit. Dude, right on cue. This is 2003, man. Yeah. I said, come on, man, to the fucking breaking. The reported Islamist shooter in Austin, Texas has been identified. Has been identified as 53-year-old Ndiaga Diagne, who wrote a Property of Allah shirt during the terror attack. I said, come on, man. And he said, this guy said, he's mad we stopped the shooter. To which I responded with, cattle. It's just like, really? This is how easy it is for Americans. It literally doesn't take much. They're so fucking stupid. Where they're like, oh, wow, look at how look at this situation, this very well-timed random guy coming out of fucking nowhere being like, I love Islam so much. I'm doing this for Muslims. I'm doing this for Muslim. I'm doing this for Muslim. I love Islam. Islam rules. I'm going to do a terrorism now. Islam rules and I'm doing a terrorism. We already got shitpost accounts calling it a false flag. Normies might stick the landing on this one. I know. What is this? I looked at this the other day, and Lycan Cooks isn't wrong. In the last week, while Hutch has been arguing with DGG about moderation and yelling at us in the news, there was a mega shooter at Mar-a-Lago. Mexico attacked the cartel. The Clintons testified at Congress. Zoran handled a historic blizzard, and right-wing yelled about Snowgate. A massive consolidation of huge news networks was bought by Trump-friendly billionaires. Gavin Newsom had a terrible book tour. Texas had a huge primary Dems showing up. And Hutch has been talking about chat moderation, arguing with DGG, calling him out, and shitting on Hassan. Hate Hassan all you want, but he's covered all of that while having Obama's NATSEC advisor on, Ro Khanna to discuss Iran, and North Carolina rep candidate to discuss her campaign and AI. It's true. I did do that. What is this? Alex Jones' level of conspiracy theory nonsense is not a problem exclusive to MAGA and the right. Hey, just curious, are the next few weeks / months, depending on the length of the conflict, going to be mostly dedicated to useless Hassan coverage, or do you plan to try to do something important on this issue? What the fuck, lol? Friend, if you don't like the stuff I post, unfollow, mute, block me. That's a nice cop-out response. It would be way more honest to say you like the positive benefits it brings your channels and you value that more than meaningful substantive content. You're not saving America by dunking on Hassan to an audience that already hates Hassan. Damn. Also, I'm not even fucking wrong. Like, what am I supposed to say? The timing of this is not suspicious? I literally tweeted yesterday, if there's any terrorism that happens on U.S. soil now, you will never be able to convince me, nor millions of other Americans, that it wasn't Israel and America conducting it together to rally the masses to support an insanely unpopular war. Liberals also love doing this, and it's just crazy when it comes to Muslims. It's like they forget that this administration is the administration that literally sent this shit out. They are still pushing the narrative if someone wrote anti-ice on their bullets. You know? Like, liberals forget that it's the same Trump administration all of a sudden. When it comes to fucking potentially Muslims of the crosshairs or potentially like Israel first foreign policy, the same liberals that were like, very interesting that this administration is doing a very bad, very bad job creating domestic propaganda, are fucking turning around and going, nah, this time it's real. This time it's definitely real. Nevar amına koyacağım kanka okuyun. COMEX will collapse with the derivatives market and they will blame Iran war, not COMEX kanka oku. Ne diyorsun bilmiyorum. I was watching Bruce Green and Bruce was saying the Scalpy's having a hard time on Twitter and the Shadow said the Baldy brings it on himself. I have no idea what that is. Iraqi Shiite insurgent group Saraya Avliya al-Dam posted a video of them launching rockets at the U.S. Erbil base.
وفاء بالسيد علي الخامنائي تم شهيد القائد الإمام الخامنائي ونصرة للمذهب يا أبو عبد الله.
Easily the most insane stuff from 2011 in the Arab Spring was Shia in Bahrain, literally reignited now, and far more besides across the region. And for what? I'm disavowing, but the dude, their fucking production guy, needs a raise. Reuters are saying the last Iran strike killed Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, that's.
May Allah awaken the people.
Yeah, they
and
hit
help
Berlin.
Them to see the evil doings of Israel
Iran.
and the United States.
Please verify. Ted Cruz straight up was joking about dead soldiers on the timeline. Wait, what? It's not every day you see a U.S. senator joking about dead U.S. Marines. Were your friends Germans wearing Nazi tattoos like I can assure you, your prayers didn't save my friends from dying in the last war you supported. Oh my God. Oh my God. Were your friends Germans wearing Nazi tattoos like you? What is happening? Are the Republicans insane? Dude, what the fuck? It's not every day you see a U.S. senator joking about dead U.S. Marines. Oh my God. What did Plattner quote retweeted as? No, Ted, my friends died as My friends died as and will always be United States Marines, you despicable fuck. What the fuck? It's unbelievable. Ted Cruz responded again. You're a communist by your own admission with a Nazi tattoo on your chest. Tragically, you embody the very best in today's Democrat Party. Nah, little man. You can't get away with that, little man. That's crazy. Bro, that's crazy that Ted Cruz straight up was like, yeah, all of those dead Marines are Nazis. Ted Cruz hitting the fucking bad empanada lines, dude. Ted Cruz comes out as an anti-American third worldist. He said, fuck them Marines. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Ted Cruz. He's Cuban. You know, he's a communist. He's a communist Cuban, third worldist. I think from today forward, things just get increasingly more weird and insane until Trump dies or a civil war breaks out. Chatter. That's already happening every day. That's unfolding all around us every day at an alarming rate. Let's be real. Ted Cruz said, I'm the troop exploder. Hello, I'm Ted Cruz, and I believe the U.S. Marines are a unit comprised entirely of neo-Nazis doing the fascist bidding of America empire. This is not the timeline I was expecting to live through. I mean, we're Americans, so at the end of the day, it's we face none of the fucking consequences, and we get to have all the bad takes. We get to dominate the whole world. We get to have all the fucking bad takes all the time, and then we sit there and we talk about our feelings. You know what I mean? It's just utterly ridiculous, but that is what it is. You know. Oh, there's also this. Rachel Maddow claims it's the Gulf Arabs that stand to benefit the most from Iran being weakened.
Who benefits? It's always useful to start that question in any country. Who benefits? Who wants Iran bombed off the map and for their own reasons? Who are Iran's rivals and enemies? Perennially, it's the Gulf Arab states.
Oh, so not Israel.
Countries like Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and Qatar. You know, Qatar, the country that just gave Donald Trump a really, really nice.
Come on, man. The pearl of the fucking Gulf. How dare you? How dare you? Bro, these people are so crazy. What are you saying? Like, is Israel not in the lexicon? It's the same shit with like Jeffrey Epstein. They were like, you know, I think Jeffrey Epstein is an agent. And you're like, of a foreign state. You're like, The foreign state of, you're like, go ahead. Oh, the foreign state of Russia. The fuck do you mean? You can't fucking you can't let the words out? Who stands to gain the most from blowing up Iran? Who stands the most? Is the Gulf states? I mean, there's some truth to it, but I think there's one state. Rachel Maddow played a leading role in wasting years of liberal time and energy on a conspiracy theory that Trump colluded with and was financially compromised by Russia. This entailed ignoring not only the actual evidence about Russiagate, but about Trump's collusion with and financial ties to Israeli interests. With Russiagate fanfiction no longer tenable, Maddow now claims the Gulf states got him to bomb Iran. She gives only a passing mention to Israel, omitting that Israel lobbied for this bombing and directly participated in it, and that Trump and his cabinet have ties to pro-Israel oligarchs. Trump has openly bragged that his Israel policies are shaped by Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, that somebody has escaped the dogged eye of this leading member of the Trump media opposition. It's crazy. how at that point it has to be deliberate, right? Like you can't, I'm sorry. There's no shot that you're talking about foreign entanglements with the Trump administration and not mentioning Israel. Why are we all acting as though, like, is Israel a part of America or not? Is Israel just a part of America? Is it the most important state, the only state that matters or not? Because we can't play the song and dance at this point. Because you keep talking like Israel is a part of America without ever mentioning Israel, but then also talking about how it's a sovereign state or a foreign nation. Rachel Maddow did a segment on the bombing of Iran and blamed it entirely on the Gulf states and didn't even mention Israel. This is why the idea that resistance libs have been vindicated is so silly. They can't even acknowledge the realities of what's going on in the world if it doesn't fit their morality play vision of geopolitics. Like the Gulf states certainly benefit from a weakened Iran, especially, I would say, especially Saudi Arabia. Okay? This is true. But the notion that, like, especially even bringing up Qatar with the jet and shit is so funny because, like, Qatar has a shared gas field with Iran. Like, what are you saying? Like, if you ask Israelis, Qatar is a part of Iran, okay? If you ask Israelis, they will say, like, oh, Qatar, the number one anti-Semitic country on the planet other than Columbia students. The idea that, like, Qatar is actively petitioning the United States of America by giving America an Air Force One jet, by giving Trump an Air Force One jet so that they will bomb Iran is so stupid. Wall Street Journal editorial board, keep bombing Iran, please. The biggest mistake President Trump could make now would be to end the war too soon, before Iran's military and its domestic terror forces have been more thoroughly destroyed. Speaking of Fetterman, last night on Fox News.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's truly incredible. And let me just say, like, all of the naysayers, all these so-called experts, aren't you ever tired of being wrong about this? Everybody claimed that this was going to turn into like a huge disaster or things could go out of time.
This guy fucking peed. Dude, I would say that anyone with like a little bit more foresight would probably know not to flex and do a touchdown end zone dance here. But of course, Fetterman is not known for having any sight whatsoever.
Get out of control. And that's just absolutely not what happened. And what America and Israel accomplished today was profound. Yeah, no, I mean,
this is an old video.
It's truly incredible.
This is not a new video. This is an old video. Israel really does seem to play a similar role to the Republic of Texas in regards to imperialist war against Mexico. The difference is American empire has not moved well beyond the home hemisphere. This, among other things, why explicit integration into the United States does not occur. Don't do ableism. Bro, ableism is whenever anybody gives an opportunity to fucking John Fetterman to speak. They let him do the ableism for himself. Also, the girlies are fighting. Laura Loomer, 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action as a part of Operation Epic Fury. Epstein's Fury. American heroes, God bless them and their families. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, this bitch is celebrating the death of American military service members and thanking their families for their blood sacrifice. Loomer lost 2 congressional races because nobody respected her or valued her enough to elect her. But this is who Trump takes late night calls from and laps up her praise and worship. Loomer hated Charlie Kirk because he spoke out against war with Iran the same way I do. War with Iran is America last, and we voted against it the same way voters voted against Laura Loomer twice. And now Americans are once again coming home in flag-draped coffins from another stupid, pointless foreign war for foreign regime change on behalf of Israel. And Laura Loomer demanded it and begged for it. Sign up for the military, Laura. Go to the front lines, Laura. Maybe then they'll give you a gun. You don't love Trump enough unless you go fight Iran yourself. Cooked. The Democratic Party is the Democrat Party is the party of war. Bomb Iran. Why is she cooking? That's my goat. Marjorie Taylor Goat. It's so fucking spectacularly unpopular, by the way. I spend a good deal of time in here looking at like the pliant media that is churning out State Department propaganda at an alarming rate. And it's still crazy that Americans, by and large, are just like, nah, I'm not. Nah, it's fucking bullshit. Nope. Not for me. And perhaps a big part of the reason why, is because Trump himself ran on no regime change wars and releasing the Epstein files. Okay? That's it. And that's part of the problem. So the MAGA base, they were maybe stupid enough to believe him, but they believed him nonetheless. So there are, of course, always going to be dumb fucks in the base that are just like, oh, well, now Trump wants war with Iran. Well, I love war with Iran too now. Right? However, the reality of the matter is there are still plenty of people who are going to experience buyer's remorse. Jennings saying you're not MAGA if you don't back a war for Israel.
We thought MAGA.
I mean, they're right. They're right, by the way. They're right. America first is Israel first. Scott Jennings is right. MAGA is pro-Israel. MAGA is Israel first. The thing is, however, this might actually erode the base of MAGA a little bit further.
This is not what we thought MAGA was supposed to be. Congressman Thomas Massie also writing, this is not America first. Do they have a point?
No, they don't have a point, and I don't consider them to be actual Republicans, and I don't consider them to be part of the American.
This, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when Donald Trump came out and was like, if you care about the Epstein files, you don't love me. And some people were like, all right, bet. I do care about the Epstein files. I'm going to go buy a gun at the nearest Walmart and travel from North Carolina to Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Like, because when MAGA falls out of love, they got different tools at their disposal. You know? Like, yeah, Democrats complain. Liberals hate Donald Trump. They say orange man bad, all this and that. But when MAGA falls out of love, they want to fucking murder you. And they got all the guns. You know what I mean? Liberals won't do shit. They'll just be like, oh, this fucking sucks. This fucking sucks. This is suck. This is shitty. I hate this. I hate this. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. When MAGA's like, all right, what do you mean? Oh, I shouldn't care about the Epstein files. Okay, I do care about the Epstein files. I'm going to go buy a gun now. When Trump says the operation is proceeding quicker than planned, what he means is all my very rich friends are calling me up and screaming at me for crashing the entire